Hi, I'm historian John Marks, and one of the most important things happening in history lately is the Trump administration's escalating effort to control how history is told at National Park Service sites. The latest episode happened just last week in Philadelphia, where Park Service staff removed an outdoor exhibit telling the stories of the people that George Washington enslaved while president. The exhibit stood near Independence Hall at what is known as the President's House site. Here is the history that exhibit explained. For his entire adult life, George Washington enslaved his fellow human beings. Even while he was serving as president, Washington enslaved hundreds of people at his Virginia plantation, Mount Vernon, and he enslaved at least 9 others at the president's house in Philadelphia. Now, his exploitation of their labor made the president's life possible. But for Washington, there was a problem. In Pennsylvania in 1780, they passed a law to gradually abolish the institution of slavery. And that law stated that after enslaved people remained in the state for at least 6 months, they would be entitled to claim their freedom. So Washington's response was to secretly rotate the people he enslaved out of Pennsylvania before they reached that 6-month mark, before they could legally claim their freedom. Even as Washington privately expressed support for these kinds of gradual emancipation laws, he took deliberate steps to make sure the people that he personally enslaved would never take advantage of them. But still, Washington couldn't control everything. The people he enslaved in Philadelphia were exposed to the largest free black population in the United States. They experienced autonomy that they never would have had at Mount Vernon, and they saw the possibilities of black freedom. So at least 2 of them, Hercules Posey and Ona Judge, escaped Washington's control, fled from slavery, and have evaded his efforts to recapture them. And now that is the history that the Trump administration has literally ripped from the walls. As we approach the 250th anniversary, the White House is trying to make sure that Americans are only exposed to the narrowest, most whitewashed, most inaccurate version of American history, and it is sparking both local and national outrage. And this is far from an isolated case. Reporting from the Times and the Washington Post shows that there are similar efforts at other Park Service sites to remove histories of Native displacement, of racial violence, and of injustice of all kinds. Now, study after study shows that this is not what Americans want. Americans want to see our full and whole history, both the good and the bad. Now that we're just months away from the 250th anniversary, these controversies are surely going to continue creeping up. That's what I'm seeing in history lately. Please follow along, comment, and check me out for more.